All right, I think we're ready to go. Uh, are you able to see my screen? And I think we're going to start. I don't know much about my microphone, but what I'm going to do is that I'm going to increase the gain on the microphone, and we're going to go live. How is the font size? I don't know, but I think there is a font size on Visual Studio. I think if I go to options, I assume that there should be a font size option. And if we go to the font size option, well, let us see. Advanced text editor, font size, font and colors. Okay. And we're going to go with our minimum font size. We're going to put that at 14. That way we all can look at our code better. Okay, now that we have this, I think it's going to be better to zoom in here so you can actually see what is going on here. And I think we're ready to go. So let's first launch the application. And if you are not watching, then you're not watching. If you're watching, thank you for watching. We are going to prove a point. We are going to kind of, I think modern web development is very, very bloated. I think web development is very bloated, and not everything has to be a web application, especially if you have a computer that has all of this capability. I think we should start having executables on our computer that is going to really just be functional without having things that are unnecessary in making trips. So I'm going to build, AI prompt manager using Windows 2000 technology. But to kind of illustrate things, we're going to first initialize a new prompt. And this prompt is going to be, let's go in our chat, and we're going to, let us stop the application. First, we're going to say, create a new C#, remove the default form that class, and we're going to create a single file called program.cs, and it's going to have the main method and a class main form that's going to inherit from the main form. And we're going to set the title to prompt manager, and inside of the box we're going to also have a nice big bold text prompt manager. And to make it clear, let's use this one. I want to see if that's going to do any difference. If that does not do it, we shall use another model. And okay, so typical Windows form, it creates the component for us. It goes into the designer, it removes it, and now it's creating program. And we're kind of like programmatically adding things to our user interface. Now I think it has finished. It's still going, and it has given us what it has done. So it says the application is ready to run. So let us run the application, and lo and behold, we should see a window that should welcome us with hello world. And let's just hope that this is doing it. See, let's wait. Right now I do not see anything. Why? And let's stop that. I'm gonna restart it again. Let's see. We're going to give me 1 second. Let me just check if everything is set up here. I assume that we're going to have this working, but I could be wrong. Therefore, let's it is not launching the window, so I'm going to stop it. Oh, it is frozen. Why do you know? It's Visual Studio proper, but I like Visual Studio The 2026 is all right. It doesn't have any, issues really. So if this doesn't work, we're gonna create many little small applications. So for now, all we're going to do is we're going to have this syntax tree. And in fact, we're going to start with kind of like the main features. First is a prompt manager, right? And what does it have? It's just a list of strings. If you're going in each of these, okay, so it's just a list of strings. And at the most basic, and we have actions. Actions are going to be CRUD. So create, update, delete, edit. We will probably will have a format. So that's to enrich. I think for now we're going to settle on JSON, and we're also going to settle on Markdown, just for now. And then we're just going to have to also have this rendering. So it should be able to render it. So with that being said, we have these, we can call these constraints. And we're going to start with a seed prompt. Let's kind of remove grud coke fast. And let's actually just end the task for now. We're going to end the task, and all right. So our app is launching. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually just split the screen and have some better things. So we're going to switch our models because this model is not efficiently working. Let's actually choose GPT-5. I'm just going to say when I press start, it should display our main form. Okay, we're testing this too, just to make sure that everything is fine. In the meantime, let us continue with our, I should have a message here that's going to, it's loading. Okay, so the edit was made, build was successful. Let's launch it. And there we go. And I resize it, and we have a text. So this is the first thing. And how many lines of code did we have here? About, 35. So I wonder if I should compare it. We're not going to do the big comparison yet between React and we're not gonna do the big comparison between React and Windows Form yet. We're gonna go step by step. So now that we have this, look at how many lines of code. About 35. This is the text, the title. We will create some sort of framework around it, but for now this is what we have. Okay, so now what do we want? We want to we're going to think about it in that case, right? I think if we are thinking knowledge in terms of we have to have another prompt. And this prompt now, what am I going to tell the system? This is my kind of idea. I'm going to, it's not running, so let's not even go there. We're going to just say now, let us configure our app for SQLite So basically we will have an input box. We type something into it and it can save our data. So we will need some data structure to hold our prompts. What do you recommend? And also after we enter, it will display it. So we will need to split it into two panels. One to the left, which is the list, and one to the right, which is the detail on click. Okay, so it's gonna work on it. So what do we want to display? We kind of want to show that this is kind of like the user interface that we're gonna build, right? So it's literally this. And I generated that with Gemini actually. So I think it's not even nostalgia, it's utility. It's what is useful versus what is useful, what is pretty. What is useful, what is pretty. I think with that being said, we will now go into our code again to see what has happened. And currently, we will stop the application and start it again. Okay, so what he says, there's some build errors. What are the build errors? You have 24 errors. And what are the errors here? Well, first, our entity framework is not installed. We have not set the DB context. Okay, so what's going on, I think, is this model, while it's very good at following direction, it cannot think ahead to see things, so we're gonna paste the errors. So I think this is also important to keep in mind, is that sometimes certain models are better at thinking ahead and at finding errors. So now we have to kind of think about our methodology. And in fact, we're going to kind of display some slides that will kind of have so we can have a better kind of way. So basically, while this is building, we're going to also have another project that is going to let's stop this and then let's start it again. And let's do an illustration. I think our background color, we'll put it like that. This should put our background color all black, but we can use GIMP. Okay. Okay, please implement the user interface. Okay, so it's importing the user interface. What do we want to do now? Let's do a bit of a background. And let's kind of look at the history of Windows Forms. So we're going to Windows Forms. Windows Forms was this free open source graphical user interface library for building Windows desktop applications, and it's still, as you can see, they have not said was, they say is. And I think the first version, and it's still going. Now, this was maybe the API for it, and I think it's still alive and kicking. Now let's launch the application to see skip that. If we have an issue, I think we need to run our migrations. So it has told us that we need to run our migrations. We'll let this hide for a bit. So I think it's time for us to be a bit more visual with our project. And as you can see, our model, so this is like a good try of our model. It is not working like it's supposed to. So if we have to, in fact, have this, so really the prompt manager is just this, right? So now let's have another kind of slide. We're gonna just call them slides, right? We have another slide. We have to also think about our model strength and weaknesses. Okay. So we have the mini. We're just gonna call them, let's actually call them fast and smart. Okay, fast and smart. Fast and smart, let's call them light. Let's have other attributes that we can call this. We can say heavy. Actually, let's just say heavy, okay? Slow. Let's call them expensive. Let's call them very verbose. Let's call this a bit dumb. And let's call this cheap. And let's call them terse. So now we're building the matrix of our models. So I think if we have to order them, and even in that matrix, based on my usage, I'll take Gemini Flash, kind of wins here. Codex Mini, I'll probably do second. I need to try Haiku, but it's, if we are doing absolutely free, if we're talking in the expensive and the paid, if you're doing the paid Haiku, now if we're gonna go to the smart, I think Opus, then we have Codex, and I think we have Gemini. In my experience, Gemini 3 is quite good. Now I think those are actually very good. The Sonnet, actually the Sonnet is probably a decent one. Codex Mini. Okay. So to save you some frustration, we are going to, instead of, so we're gonna check at that debugger to see if our Visual Studio can actually debug itself now with Copilot, which is kind of cool. So now we're going to also think about the principles, right? We have these old websites and people used to craft them by hand, but at what cost? I think back then we had one type of devices, was the desktop, used a big square, and it was, if you had a screen, you could display it, and it's up to you to figure things out. So over time, you know, we develop kind of those UI libraries. If we want to kind of think about WPF, I think so what we're gonna do, let's actually check our model. Let's see, it's still doing its thing. So we're going to go sideways to kind of show you another project that can validate what we're trying to do. So this is the Gemini processor. So Gemini processor is what? It's a way to it's an interface that will allow us to connect. So let's actually just say, because we're on Windows, we're just going to say virtual environment. Let's ls it first. We ls. This is our directory. We have the virtual environment. So then we're gonna go to script. We're gonna go to activate. So once we activate, we have this. That means we have an isolated environment where we can install Python packages. So we have installed Python packages. We're going to, our entry point is actually, we have the TUI we have the CLI, and we have the main. So let's actually just launch the GUI. So we're gonna say Python, or we're gonna say GUI main.py, GUI main.py, and after a short delay, it's going to load. So now it has loaded. So what we just have a Gemini kind of instance, and in fact, I think we're gonna compare those kind of fast, lightweight systems. We're gonna duplicate this tab, okay? I'm going to actually, let's split it. We're gonna split it. This is one of the, let's exit. It's just gonna be stuck, okay? Let's actually just duplicate this tab. And I'm going to open Gemini. I'm going to open Gemini. And while Gemini is opening, I'm going to, do we have a file browser? We do have a file browser. And we're going to have this prompt first approach. So we're going to go, before we do anything, we're going to kind of say, okay, we're gonna say, are you able to increase the font size in our application so that the minimum font size is about 16 pixels? Okay. Let's let it do its thing. So now let's check. Let's run the prompt manager. Okay. No such table as prompts. Let's actually switch to a model that has better understanding. We're going to go with maybe a cheaper. I'm gonna go with Haiku, and I'm going to say, okay, we're building this kind of prompt manager, and our stack is a SQLite database. We probably would need some migrations, and we'll need entity framework. But in fact, we're not going to use entity framework. Let's actually pull in Dapper as our, because entity framework is too big for the scope of this application. We're going to use Dapper, very lightweight. We're going to use SQLite, and then that's it. So please configure our system so we can have a database at the bottom, a data layer, and then we can then worry about our user interface. So the thing with, I think, vibe coding is that we have to spend some time kind of doing the fundamentals. So let me actually put some text here. Let me do a direct prompt. And I want to say, can you tell me what color is the sky? Okay, can you tell me what color is the sky? I'm gonna execute. It's gonna execute the pasted text, and hopefully it's gonna come up with a result. And it's taking some time to do the processing, and then we'll see. Okay, so while you see this has removed entity framework core, let's pause it, and it has replaced it with Dapper. So that's important, lightweight. We don't have to always use the heaviest tools. So it has a DB context, and we initialize the database, date and time. Okay. Let's connect this, and let's see. Well, we have an error, no such table as prompt. Okay, let's actually start with the data layer. First, we need to create our tables, and then we need to migrate our database so we can actually do it. So what do you propose and suggest? Okay, and now look at that. So at the most minimum level, let's go in our Gemini, and let's let it increase the font size. So what is it doing here? It is our program. It configures the application. it creates this new app.db context, and it tracks the version. And we have our migration with add column, so we don't need the entity framework. So we have our project configuration that just tells us this is the .NET version we are following. Do we enable nullable? It's kind of like those null checks. Do we allow for things to be null, and then we can handle that ourselves or not? And we're using Windows Forms. And then those are, in the JavaScript world, this is the npm JSON packages, but package.json. But here we just have two packages, libraries that we're importing, Dapper, our ORM, and system data, SQLite. And now program has done. Let us pause. Let's see if the bug is still there. And our success, well, it's still giving us the error, no prompt. Okay, so we have this exception. We're gonna paste it in here. Why? Okay, let's look at our code. I think if we do it twice and we have a problem, we should stop and actually do it ourselves. I think that's my kind of heuristics. So it's building our user interface. And now let's check on our, do you see here? Let's pause, let's close this. Let's go here. Let's let it ride our new thing. And while this is loading, let's look at graphics. We're going to Google the query. We're gonna say wheelbarrow. Okay. So if you're around your house, okay, you're doing a project and you want to carry a bunch of rocks. Okay, you're gonna use this. But if you are if you have a pickup truck, you're around your house. Are you going to drive around your house with a pickup truck just to carry some rocks? Well, no. You're going to probably use the wheelbarrow. So, you see what I mean? So, you want a wheelbarrow versus a pickup truck to carry some rocks. In fact, let's actually use a trailer truck. A trailer truck. Now, a lot of the libraries that you have, they are trailer trucks. Like, a lot of them. You don't always need them to build what you're building. And let's actually prove that. Let's execute the test. We're just running our test cases. While we're running our test cases, let's go and check if our app is ready. We're just going to go to the main, okay? And we have some issues here. So that we should report. What does it say? There's a Gemini UI. I think it has refactored the application. So we'll just let that ride. And let's go down here. Let's see what this has done. Okay. So we've removed all references to entity. Let's start the prompt manager. And hopefully we get something. Okay. Now, I think this is too dumb. Let's go with Sonnet 4.5. And I'm going to repeat myself and say that we are building. Can you tell me what we are building right now? Let's stop this and let's see what it comes up with. We're going in a very naive approach. And let's go back to our thing. Okay, what does it say? It says we're building a prompt manager, desktop UI. We store the prompt and we search, and we have SQL database, and we have a list and editor view. I'm transitioning from Dapper. Okay. Now, what is the mechanism to actually build the tables and to actually migrate? Because right now we get a no such table error. Okay, so we have an agent that can debug. That's actually kind of cool. Okay, let's go back to our thing. Okay, there's one thing we realize is that Gemini is lacking compared to Cloud Code or Codex as far as switch to Dapper and use our Dapper to create a migration file, and then we can run it. So we'd have to write our own maybe migration, or does Dapper come with its own migration system? Okay, let's pause this and let's ask the follow-up question. Is okay, so it has changed and we have this error. While we are doing this, let's see if it's going to run. We still have the error. It should debug the error. We're using Gemini 3. Okay, so now let's go into our Visual Studio. I think it's like a fish, and sometimes we have to reel it in, you know what I mean? We have to reel it in, otherwise it will just go out. Look at how much code is like spitting out that we may not. So sometimes we have to check our git changes to see if it's doing it right. So now let's rebuild our project, but we're going to review it manually. We're gonna see if our project will be run, and hopefully our project will work fine. And we still have this error, so we're going to copy all the details. We're gonna paste it here, and we're gonna see what it does. In the meantime, well, it's creating, it's rewriting everything, which is not token efficient, but we're trying to test if between Python and .NET, which one is better. Because our Python has already, let's actually open it in Visual Studio Code to actually show you what I mean. You see, Gemini is very slow. So we will let this run. We're gonna open this with code dot. We're gonna open this in Visual Studio Code just so you can see the difference. And so far .NET is okay. Let's see if that. Okay. Please apply these changes for me. Don't be afraid to make breaking changes because we're just setting our application up. Okay, we actually instructed it that it should not be afraid to make breaking changes. Okay, it's doing our debugging agent. It's debugging it for us. There's the breakpoint. You see the breakpoint here? it has set its own breakpoint. It's actually kind of wonderful. But now let's see if it's going to detect these errors. Okay, we have now 4 errors. It needs to restart the application, but let's let it restart it first. It says to rebuild, and we should be good to go. Let's stop this. Let's start it again. And let's see if our application is going to actually work. There's still errors. We're gonna say yes. So this is actually not okay. There's this. Let's report it. Let's stop. Yes. Let's just say copy here. Okay. If that doesn't work, then I don't know. But let's look at our Python here. Let's first, it says the fix is verified. Let's go here. Let's see. Actually, let's just run our actual Python code to see. And now we have a much better graphical user interface, and we're going to actually have a fun. Let's try to do everything within this app. What do you think? We're going to, while we're building our .NET application, we're going to have a little bit of fun with this. This is our info. We have content manager. This is our content manager, which is made with Flask. When we click on this, it should launch. This is our application. So you see, but this is too complicated. We're not going to worry about this feature today. In fact, why don't we go in our Twitter? We're going to let's actually so this is fast. It's not storing the latest result, but let's actually have another. We're gonna say can you tell me what is RAG in artificial intelligence? What is a RAG in artificial intelligence? We can actually select models. There's another issue. Let's connect. Okay. So we have some issues here. I think part of it is web development has some niceties with like debugging, like we can inspect element. But let's quit this. It has started. We should not do that. So let's start this again. So let's go on our C# side. I am sure that this time we should be able to build it. And still no. Okay. Let's go in our appdb context. And it says we have to clean. Let's clean it. Let's clean solution. Let's clean the solution. Let's start again. We have one error. No. Okay, what is this error saying? It's on line 32. It says we get current version of what? Let's explain it. I'm not familiar with that. Let's just chat. Let's copy this error. Let's paste it here. Okay. We're kind of experimenting with this tool, and let's see what it says. Okay, let's go here. Let's copy error. Copy it. Actually, let's do fix. Let's see if that's going to do anything. Fix or copy, paste. We're going to have the roadmap. I think it would be better for more visual tools. So we're going to have a roadmap. Let's go on a roadmap real quick. We're going to launch our other application because it's more, so okay, so let's see what it does. Okay, it made a change. What did it change? Okay, if it's changed, it updated many things. Now let's build. I want to build it first. Fingers crossed. There's still an error. The build started. What project is that in the prompt manager? It is still giving this error. Let's keep these changes. Let's refer to this. So Sonnet, that's our most intelligent model, is struggling to fix a simple syntax error. So let's build our solution. We still have that. Current version, select max, coalesce, what? Schema version. Still going on. Copy. It's okay. We're not gonna create a brand new chat. We're gonna get here. And we're gonna copy the error. We're gonna paste it here. Active document. We need to fix this error. Okay, what did it say? It returns a non-nullable int, so the null coalescing operator cannot be applied. Well, what is it? Let's actually refresh our memories. What is a null coalescing operator? What is that? Let's see what it is. A null coalescing operator in C#. It is returns the value of its left-hand operand if it's not null. So, for example, okay, sometimes just explain it to me like I'm 5. Okay, there we go. So this basically says, is there a string here? We assign it to null. If the customer is not null and the customer's address is not null, then we assign this object to name. So we fill in that value. So this is basically, we're not checking null. Okay. I understand what's going on here. So we have it's kind of like an object that has customer, address, street name. So street name could be null within that object, right? Address could be null. So we say, okay, if this is null, just stop here. Else, is this null? Is the customer null? Stop here. Name, stop here. So it kind of cascades everything. Okay. So it allows us, so now this is the double. It basically says to manage node values, if the left operand, value 1, is not null, it's going to return that. Else is going to return that. So in a way, we're going to display an address. We have a default value. If this is null, return this default value. Okay. So in our case, we were basically saying, let's check our DB context line 32, that return version 0 by default, else return this. So now I think our pressing issue is why even have this line in the first place? Why do we need schema version and max version since we already know what type of package we're going to be using? What is the purpose of that? And can we simply even simplify that? And that's where we start to question our I think. So while this is loading, I'm going to go on my website and we're going to talk about the context window crisis. So we have this old mindset where everything we like boilerplate, and we're basically right now we have context windows. So when you ask GitHub or Claude to build your feature, you're battling token economics. So every import statement, every configuration file, every line of framework boilerplate is consuming precious context. And when that fills up, it can hallucinate or you get hit with token limits. So we want to deliver maximum utility per token. So we pay a tax. Look at this React application. Okay, we are importing. And so far, okay, we need to know what library we're using. We need to know what component we're using. That's fine. Now, if we go into, we're setting up a state, we're setting up the component. But really, this is the function right there. Is when you click on button, we increment by 1. Now, let's look at alpine.js. It's about the same, but it's kind of like button. We assign a value. We're using kind of like HTML attributes, and we are assigning a function click, and we have this shorthand click, and it increased the text count. So we reduce it by 87%. And all of those, I guess, context, extra context, consumption matters. And now we have to understand there's something they call locality of behavior. Basically, when we scatter logic across files, it's hard for the AI to see structures. For example, we have multiple folders. We have a button. We have a button module, the CSS. We have a button state. We have d.ts, the types. So for example, for C#, as we are experimenting here, everything is in system. So we know we're going to use Windows Forms. We give it the text. We create a button. This is the text of the button. This is how we place the text. This is what happens when we click the text. And then we add that into our window. we run the application. This is a very simplistic but element of our Windows form, but it's to kind of illustrate the point. Everything is one executable. So as we are experiencing here in our CLI, the bottleneck and how many back and forth it takes, what did it say here? It says, let's keep this. Okay, why is that line here in the first place? Schema versioning. Okay, so no migration history. Okay, we're still gonna say we don't want to create the migrations ourselves. Is there a library that we can use with Dapper? Does Dapper offer migrations? So that brings us to ideas. And we're going to represent this. We're going to represent this with an application. First, let's go in our application. It says it has fixed our GUI main. We're going to create, we're going to go to Python. We're going to open our GUI. Okay. We're going to have a new tab called Ideas, Input. And I'm going to exit. Gemini is good for code understanding and planning. It's a little bit slow with implementation, but if you have nothing, it's useful. So we're going to, can you understand our current application and write a documentation? Just document what the main features of the application right now, group them by kind. So for each feature, group them. So basically, here is this feature for this application. This is what it does. These are the main files and main functions associated with that. Put that in a markdown document. So now, while this is loading, let's go into our schema and see what it gave us. It said that we can use Fluent Migrator. And remember, we're kind of keeping things so it says that there is a Fluent Migrator and there's DBUp that we can use. Okay, I'm gonna say I do not mind breaking changes. We're just keeping our packages lightweight. So even if we break our current migration system, what would be the ideal way to do the database versioning? Okay, so let this run. And we're also gonna ask it, is database versioning even necessary? But this is what it come up with. It has written our application. So now we're going to do some housekeeping. We're going to exit. We're gonna say git status, and then we're going to say git add all. We're gonna say git commit n for message, and we're going to say this is a good first version, and our app proof of concept, we're gonna transition into an actual application production. Okay, now let us go open that in Visual Studio Code. So we have a bunch of files here. You see, what we're going to ask it is first, let us we're going to create a layer on top of it. Our uploads, okay, we have templates, and we have inbox, export, error, got disposable software, but we're gonna come back to this. Our second prompt is going to say, if you look at our current application right now, we have a lot of waste product whether it be documentation or old Python files. Let us rework our file, remove everything that is not needed, and so we keep just what we need for our application. So do not be afraid. I think I'm going to create this thing called tips. Tips is going to it's slides, but let's stop with this. Let's go back to our application. So the system has recommended a DB test. Okay, please proceed with that, and let's go. So we're gonna use DB up. While this is loading, we're going to go back to our kind of illustration, and we're going to go to our website. Was it to kind of, okay, the bottleneck. So we have tools like Cursor, Copilot, Aider. So they will have a smaller context windows per chat, and they'll just show you stuff like that. They just make decisions for you, and then until you reach your context window. So just to understand this one button component, you read the component, TSX, read the styles, you read the button state, you read the TS, you read the test. So 8,000 tokens wasted simply for that, right? So what is the solution? My take is that the 90s were right. So back in the 90s, early 2000, you could build an application in 2,000 lines. And let's dwell on that for a second. I'll let you read it. And while this is going, and just this idea, and now we need to kind of create a plan of implementation that we can follow step by step with our talking points and token efficiency. So what do I mean by that? I think the constraints of that time gave us simplicity. So you could fit an entire program that would run, $1 million companies on a floppy disk or a CD. So why can't we do that right now? I think that's my take. So now, lower is better. So now let's kind of look at our recommendations. Before we build an app with React, we could build it with Svelte. We could build it with Flask. We could build it with Windows Forms. We could build it with Python. We could build it with Matplotlib. I think those are good for prototyping, but you might disagree with me. There's also this idea of imperative versus declarative. And now, I think also the other take is this. So we're gonna have this high density stack that we're building. So right now we're experimenting. We're gonna build the high density task and token efficiency. So let's now go back to our application. Okay. Okay. I think we learn as we go with this, because I like when it actually explain what is going technically. And do we have another error? Do we have another error? Now it says you need to call SQLite set wrong. Okay. I used to set up, I think there's an issue here. I'm going to do it differently after this. And that's the problem with letting the AI do things for you. You're just never quite sure what you're going to get. So now it's installing a new package. It with SQLite. I could be using it with MySQL and stuff, but let's finally our app application has been built. I know so far, guys, it's very boring, but that's part of the process, you know, building software. You know, a lot of things is that stage where it's quite boring but useful. You just have we have no choice but to kind of move along with it. And now let's I don't know if my voice is too loud. Okay, we have a search bar, we have this. Okay, so that's the default view, and you can type things in here, you can type things in here. Okay, so without further ado, new save, test, save, test, save. We're gonna say prompt. Okay, let's go now into our designer. Let's close this, close all, and let's go to our designer. Let's open our files. Let's stop this, open our files, and we're gonna go to prompt manager. Okay, we're gonna go to our actual program, and we are going to where's our designer? Where's our design view? I do not see it. Right click. We're programmatically doing it. What is that for? Okay, we now need to improve our design. So let's just say we're gonna create a new chat. Keep. Okay, so this is another thing we have to do. Okay, I think now we have to improve our user interface. So think that we have a left panel with the list of prompts that we've typed. And the right, we can read it. If we click edit, we can edit it and save. That's the idea. While this is loading, let's go back to our Python. It requires some action. I think we have a more blank slate. And that being said, we're going to... So far, Python is winning. I'm not going to lie. Python is winning. So I think it will be a good opportunity to split the proper classes, and then so we can so not everything is in program. Now let's start it, and let's okay. Okay, So we've launched it. Still not very good. We say, let's see, edit. So what does it guide us? It says it's not very good. I think it's missing some context. So what I'm going to say is I think this is a great opportunity for us to refactor our application in the proper Windows form way so that we can use the designer, so we don't put everything in program.cs. And we should also have a little file where we can manage our SQL statements. And then, okay, so while this is loading, we have done reading. So let's check our website. We're going to see our capabilities. We have this 251 Explorer that is not yet finished. We have this kind of floor plan, virtual floor plan kind of maker. It's kind of interesting. We style it with JavaScript. We have this home builder pipeline where this is like SVG, but the most interesting one I like so far is the stained glass. So this is all lightweight kind of showcase of stuff. I'm going to add more stuff into here, but about me, you know, I build digital systems for people. I create virtual worlds, I create websites, and I think I'm good with those languages. I think JavaScript, C#, MySQL, Postgres. I think any cloud provider and React, Angular. I've worked a lot with these two. Vue is for fun. I can do motion graphics user. And right now my focus is experimenting with AI assisted development. And okay, so now let's go back to our application and let's see our changes. So let's get more technical. We don't want to let the AI be a crutch. It should be more like a exoskeleton. Okay, now let's go to our DB context. Okay, for now I think we should just say open so we don't see the diff. Can we hide the diff? Keep. Okay, let's just we are injecting, we're just injecting things into the database. Let's actually see how it works. Okay, that's a much better. I can edit and I can say this is my prompt. Okay, and then I can save. So this should save it. I'm gonna add a new one. I'm gonna say this is my second prompt, and I'm going to save. And I'm going to create a new. Okay, so prompt. Okay, so we have a bug. Before we move on further, let's just commit these. We're gonna commit these changes, and we're going to auto-generate a message. Right now we are in the experimental phase. While this is loading, accept, and let us gonna go into I think okay, so we have get all prompts, get prompt by ID, insert prompts, update prompts, and delete prompts. Okay, sounds simple enough. Let's go to our SQL queries. Simple SQL query statement, right? To get, select all, get prompt, select all, by ID, insert into prompts, get last, update. Now we're going to critique our user interface. Now it loads the designer. Okay, So for our designer, I think let's actually use a proper AI for this. I'm going to copy this to clipboard. I'm going to go into my GitHub repository, and I'm going to go into kind of like we're going to focus on this. You know, okay, our challenge. So we're gonna have a challenge here. We're going to our challenge. Okay, let's create a new file. Our challenge is now that we know what we're building. Can we build it faster and simpler than any Electron app code? We want to see what we're building, okay? And we want to drop in any questions. I'll answer while I'm coding. So I think I will also share some concepts as we go. Okay, so now we are back. So now we're going to actually see if our any AI is able to take an attachment. So we're gonna copy this. We're gonna ask it, can you improve the design for us? We're going to commit this first, and we're gonna actually have some fake agents. So let's go here, keep and continue. Yes, I'm going to say, I'm going to paste this image. I'm going to say, as a user interface designer for web forms, I think we can do better with the user interface, mainly the list box, the search bar, and the buttons. And we should also support markdown rendering. And we should increase the font size minimum by 16 pixels so it's more readable. And let's see what it comes up with. I don't know if it has seen our image, but let's let it do its thing. Now, while it's loading, okay, so how many files do we think we have right now? Take a guess. This is how many files we have. We have about migration file. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We have 5 files. That's it. So 5 files is good. Now, if it was a React app, so you can ignore these. These are other projects, but our project is Prompt Manager. Let's check our chat. It's going to do some work for us here. Let's go back into the Python. We're just doing some cleanup. That's Google hallucinating right now, you know. See, it's hallucinating. And that approach does not work. So we're going to close this session and we're going to open now our Copilot. And I'm going to basically say, okay, I think our application right now is working, but we have a lot of waste product. And I would want to kind of improve our code base by removing anything that is not for our application so that we can have a good slate to continue working. So now check this. You'll see how different this one behaves compared to the Gemini CLI, which is sometime I think is better at text, but not so good at tool calling. And this one was taking 80 minutes or 10 minutes to do it. And now I say okay. And we should just have our absolute minimum code. In the meantime, let's check our user experience. Let's see. Why is it asking HTML? Okay, wow. And that's Windows Form, actually. This is my second prompt. If I create a new, I should see my new prompt. Save it. Okay. There's a bug. First, when I click on new, it basically just added whatever prompt already existed. And when I click save, it just replaces it. So remember, if we have a list of kind of prompts, it should just create a new one, add it to the list, not replace what we have. And yeah. Okay, so I think what people, okay, so can I delete? Okay, it deleted it. New. I'd say test. Can I do markdown? Test. Save. Okay. Can I do new? Can I do H1? Test. H2. Let's save that. Ah, it actually understands HTML. Look at that. So we can do new. We can say P paragraph. And we can say H2 header. And we save. And it actually represents that. So let's close this. And let's let it start. I know this is very boring right now, guys. Okay, if I create a new. Okay, let's actually be more specific. We're going to be more, we're going to plan. So this is what is wrong with vibe coding. It's this idea that if we don't have a roadmap, it's so much harder. So we're going to do this differently. First, we're going to be very specific in our prompt. We're going to plan our project better. First, we're going to we're going to do it like that. We're going to give you the specific UI controls that we should do. In the meantime, let's check our... Okay. So now we just have just the code that we need. So now, clean slate. Let's launch it. Let's just use our Python main GUI. Let's see what we come up with. Okay, wonderful. Now, we have the content manager. We have the latest result. Let's test our input. We're going to have it copy. We're going to just paste our plan here, and we're going to see. Let's exit this. Let's exit. For user interface, okay, let's let this run. And let's, while this is building, let's think about concepts. We can look at the code actually. We're going to look at the Gemini service. This is our Gemini service that can make connection, right? First, we have this Gen AI. It's the new package that makes connection. We will get our API key, and we by default is disconnected, and there's no client set up yet. We're going to initialize client. We grab the key, so that means we request a connection, and we basically store that client, and then now we can use that to do stuff. So this is for testing. This is very tightly coupled, so we don't have to worry about that for now. Now we're going to validate our connection. What does this mean? We grab the client instance that we have, we initialize it. If there's no client, we initialize it, and then we're going to list the models that we have. So this is actually the first bug that we've encountered. So let's actually go into our Copilot. I'm going to show you what I mean by that. If we go to Copilot, if we launch this application, we're going to see our graphical user interface, Gemini 3 Flash preview, right? I should see more others. I should see other models. So let's actually, we're going to add a feature. We're going to add a tab. Let's go in our Copilot. We're going to say, we shall build a feature that is a tab, and it's a simple input box. We type in things, and then the message that we've typed is stored. Think of it like a chat box. We type things, timestamped, the message stays. We can have a little tag with hashtag that is used for categorization. That's the feature that we want to implement. We store that in a SQLite. In fact, let's store them as text files for now, so we don't have any additional dependencies, text or markdown. That's it. Now this is gonna it's working. We have to, okay. Please eliminate our old GUI so we don't have a bloat or clutter. Likewise for our Gemini service. So we don't say version 2, we want to have a cohesive system. So if we replace it, we replace it. So that means we need a main function, our GUI main, or even not even a GUI main, we need the main.py. This is our entry point for the program. Okay. So right now, I think the tendency for Python is to have a lot of loose scripts in this. Now let's go on the C# side. C# side is, let's keep, let's check, and we're gonna appreciate the new user interface if there are any bugs. And now our user interface looks a little better. We have categories, we have the prompt, and now we're talking about, that's what I'm talking about. Our graphical user interface is a little better. So before we test this, we're going to, can you tell me what you worked on so that we kind of know what you implemented so far? You always want to ask this question because you want to keep track. Now, let us okay. Now this is token waste. We're wasting tokens right now. It should not be like that. That's a lot of waste. So we're going to take a pause on Sonnet. It says the app is ready for production, but I'm not sure. Well, write that to a file. Okay, let it write it to a file. Let's go on our Python side now. So remember, this was our goal. This was our goal. Click, show details. Click, show details. And this is what we have. So our Python version is a little clunky, not yet refined, but let's see. Let's allow the removal of the old. Wow. Let's first check. It's gonna remove GUI and hence it's going to create it as main.py so that we don't have a lot of loose scripts. In the meantime, let's go to our Visual Studio. We should write it to the file, but it's taking a long time. So this is going to be our main class, prompts. That's where we're going to kind of handle our prompt management. Right now it's hard coding our model, so we don't want to do that yet. We're going to do it in a more efficient way. So what I'm going to do is executing a prompt. It's gonna fail because we have a placeholder response. So it's gonna give us an implementation summary, and let's open that implementation summary. And it says that we have our repository, which is private for now. I might make it open source. And we use these libraries, SmartDig and the WebView. This is what we implemented. See the icons that we use. We have these bugs that we found. And let's actually preview it. we can open the preview so we can read it better. So let's open speed preview. I do not see. When that happens, all you have to do is go to reset window. Yes. Okay, continue. Okay, this is the preview. Now we have this rebuild to make it more professional. We have a prompt manager, and this is our hierarchy. A hierarchy of, and we're back with this interesting thing, which I call our layout structure. A layout structure is kind of like where, okay, so let's go with the document object model. Let's just say, you know, document object model. Okay, so document object model, as you already know, is this. It's a logical tree. Each branch in the tree each branch of the tree you can take some time to read this. This is it. So this is what we're kind of Okay, we're back. So we're talking about the document object model, and we have interfaces. Element, I think, is one that is very good. We have element, document. Yeah, I think we use document a lot. We use element, we use event. So event is, we have animation, we have all of those. And these are the functions. So it's funny how we are basically just recreating this, but in a strange, convoluted way. And I think that's what we want. These are our event handlers, you see. So everywhere we go, it's still kind of we have this mapping. Look at that. We have event handlers that we already have. Now, if we go into our HTML version, right? Let's go to HTML. We have also events, but albeit a little bit more than what we have. And we have let's go to document. Document is node and an event target. So what is the event target? Event target is like, I'm going to show you. When I hover, this is an event too. Let's click. I can right click. That's an event. I can move my mouse and I can go here. And I think we're still going to keep that 90s style aesthetic. And we're going to see, we're going to converge. Let's actually do something more interesting. While we're doing, let's use our ADHD. Let's use our ADHD brain to actually do something a little bit more fun. What we're going to do is we're going to kind of have a styling of it. So let's play, let's run our app. And our application is broken. So what we're going to do is going to have some test cases for this. So we're gonna ask the let's do it like that. Let's pause. Let's explore the idea a little deeper. What do you think? We're going to break it down into its most basic components. But first, let's check our Python side. But here's what we're gonna do. So far, we only have these files. We're going to ask it in that sense. We're going to say, we're going to break it down. We're going to go in our chat. We're gonna say, currently, now that we have a mapping of our feature, are we able to kind of put it in terms of components? We don't want to overcomplicate, but we want to logically group the stuff together so we don't have just everything in one form. That way we can have our features localized so it's easier to make changes. What I just asked is going to make our application so much better, because part of it is having components. So now let's let this Okay, so it has removed the. So we have the web interface. No. By default, this should be our GUI. We are not going to do it as web. We're going to do it as GUI. So now, this is gonna break down our components into components. While this is loading, I wonder if we can okay, so now we're breaking it down into components. We have a prompt service, we have an execution service, we have a history service, an export, a token estimator, and a prompt panel list. So we have to feed it our plan even more. We're gonna one-shot it, and now next step is to apply the styling. And this is going to be our next prompt. Okay, so now let's go back to concepts. We're going to now think about it in terms of file system. Now we want this, there's this file system observer. And let's actually go back to Windows Forms API. To explore what it offers. And this is our namespace. Well, you see, it's not very pleasant to look at. It's not very pleasant to look at. Can we have a better? Let's see. Okay. Our goal is going to be to make API requests. We're gonna have a little companion application next. So for now, let's keep this. And we're gonna talk about principles, okay? What do I mean by principles? I think next we need this HTML or JSON and just a quick slide. That's just going to main principles and the quick little SVG animations or illustrations, the basic principles of this idea of token efficiency. Okay, so now let's launch our application. Let's go to Python. We're gonna say main.py, and let's see what it comes up with. It's starting, and this is what we have. So now we have a much cleaner user interface, and I can type a prompt. Now I can say why is the sky blue, and I can execute. And now it says resource exhausted. I think we have we ran out of tokens, but let's check that again. API key save. Let's clear. Let's start. Let's say, why is the sky blue? Okay, so as you can see so far, if we have our ranking, I think Python is winning so far for speed of development. Initial. C# is quite complex so far, but more structured. Seems like there's this kind of so we're going to implement this visually. I'm going to visually show you what I mean. So we're going to go to our desktop. I'm going to use Gemini illustration. We're gonna go to slides, and I'm going to basically call Gemini. I'm going to call Gemini, and I'm going to tell it it's gonna load. Okay, so all we're going to say is we are going to create this interactive slide sample presentation. You can use JavaScript for the transitions, and it's basically going to talk about token efficiency principles and the main ideas. Here is a simple example of the interface. Then I'm going to show you the main points, the main ideas discussed. And I'm just going to paste this, that's a prompt I wrote, I'm just gonna remove this. One thing I hate about prompts is the stupid emojis. I just created this prompt, I'm just paste it in there, and I'm going to go and grab again kind of like the general principles of it. You'll see soon. Simple. I think we have this stake, and okay, we're gonna let it fly. So that's like experimental. So let's go back to our user interface. We have this API configuration, we have the prompt, we have the response. Load is not here. Okay, so let's go into our application. What was this proposing? And let's skip this. Let's stop this. And our prompt was go here. And let's paste it. Then we should also have a way to store our prompts. So there should be a button that says create prompts, and then we can create a prompt and we call it. We can edit it as well. Okay, so this is gonna ask for some Okay, let's open it. We're gonna open it to see. So this is our this is going to be our presentation. Let's kind of, so we have these principles of token efficiency. Let's actually see if that gives us something. We know that we have the crisis of the context window and the battle economics. Every line of the boilerplate consumes precious memory. When the context window fills up, the AI starts to hallucinate. So next, we have principles of single file. As you can see, second is explicit logic. Third, we have this boilerplate tags. Showing you my process right here. Let's get to the next one. Okay. Snacking. Honestly, I think our stream is over. Because I just wanted to get there, but let's go and this is what we have. Okay, let's go now. We have this issue with our API. Let's actually try if we can connect again, execute. Okay, it says we exceeded our current quota, so we're gonna try another API key. Hopefully it works, and we're gonna get API keys, and we're gonna copy this, we're gonna save, and then API key save. Now we're gonna execute the query, and let's try, it seems like it does not. What if we took, let's try this. Let's save. Well, I think let's execute. Okay, I should say. Okay, though there's an issue here. Let's go back into our. Let's go back into our. Okay. We are now gonna try with the principle. How many files we have right now? Look how many files. We have about 20 files. So first we have a designer for each of them. Okay, we have this side, it's a component. This technology was ahead of its time, you know, even, I would say, 20 years ago. This technology was ahead of its time, this idea, and we are kind of taking advantage of that. This is our main form. We call them forms, but they are screens. We can go to the designer. We can... let's go to the panel first. This is the panel. Let's go to our token estimator. We just count things. It's not gonna be very accurate. And we're not gonna use GPT. Alright, let's let this okay, so this is, let's let this finish. Meanwhile, let's go to our Python side. Let's give it a request. We're gonna say first request is that our prompt manager, we need kind of like when we put the Gemini key, we should save it. It shows whether we connected or not. It should list the latest models, not hard-coded ones. Then we can save the selection. I think that would be a much better case for that. Let's run this. Let's see what this gives. It's gonna start the Gemini processor. So what I mean by that is when we set the API key, we save it. This model list should be dynamic. Second request we're going to make, we're going to go into our, let's close this. Let's go back to our C# side. So for our Python, we have how many files? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. If we don't count the website, so we have about 12 files. So now let's keep this. Okay, I'm gonna say now please document the current state of our application as far as you understand it. Write that in our new update the app documentation. Okay, now we're going to go into here. It's still writing, and it hasn't changed about still 22 files. So in our presentation, remember we want to kind of say what are the, okay, let's actually move into like a more interactive session where we're going to just go into proper Gemini, and we're just gonna ask it some questions, right? I'm gonna use the Gemini fast, and we are going to simply ask it some questions. We're going to gonna say, can you tell me what language can you write better? If you had to write a programming language and you could only pick one, which one would you pick? Well, if you could write in one programming language forever, which one? Let's just leave it like that. So we just want to see what this gives us. And it has chosen Python. Do you know why Python? Because that's what it's trained on. It has a large amount of and it can do pretty much anything. Only thing is could be slow. So I am writing a project in C# and I have Windows. And should I ditch C# and choose TypeScript? I don't know, let's see what it says. At a glance, okay, so C#, we have a good Windows integration. It's high performance, it's very strict, and you can do anything. Now, if you're building for the web, it feels lighter. Okay, so we see the constraints that we've set up on us is teaching us better, I guess, programming skills, because we have limitations. We can't just okay. Now, what is the AI doing? Well, let's see. Let's check our Windows side. We probably have an error. We have an error. We probably do. Where's the error? What is the error? Let's go into our, let's stop it. And let us try again. Let's keep everything. Let's try again. We're not committing anything yet. We just want to check. Okay, it says cannot convert string to system time. Simple enough. Copy details, pause. And then let's save. And let's continue. Okay. So let's go back. You looking at my hair? Yeah, it's very it's like wool, very soft wool, very coily. It's like little coils that kind of. So that's how it is. It's like kind of spins around, and you can pull it like that. You see? And it's like wool, in a way, in terms of. Okay. And if you see, I pull it, and it just springs back up. Look. And it can go, yeah, like click, click. All right. Let's stop having fun. Let's actually implement. Let's go back to seriousness. Let's focus. Okay. So now let's run our application, and the constraints is good. Okay. So now we have our proper 90s style application that is actually there. So you see, on one hand we have this. So let's ask it to do something for us. Please document our prompt manager as it currently stands, so that we have a better understanding of the features. For each feature, a brief description and the files responsible for it. Once we do that, so I think for vibe coding, like the vibe coding, I think basically first you want to have some vague idea. You have a vague idea, and then you prompt it. And I would call this loose, chaotic prompt. And then once a structure emerges, hints of structure, then now we can kind of codify it, and then we kind of have like almost like, I would say, like a path to follow. Then once we have that path to follow, then we go back, because now the idea exists. We go back. Now we plan, clarify. Okay, let's just say clarify first. Clarify, plan, clarify, replan, and then we execute. And the part of the execution is kind of implement, is to test, debug, and document. So that's very important. So if we have this loop, we would first have this intent. We then have a plan. We then have a execute stage, and then we just go back up. Okay, so with that kind of a new structure, we're going to now, I think we are on the, what phase are we on now? We are going to be on, okay, it's documenting. Let's go back on our Python site to see how things are doing here. Let's run it. Let's just for our slides, for our slide system, let's have a left panel, and you can store that in a JSON or local storage, but something that is very persistent. It's a very, you can pull in, Vue.js or JavaScript, but for Alpine JS, I think Alpine, or actually let's use plain JS, let's use normal JS. It's just an input box. I type, I save. It's like a chat box. I click the list, I see details. So this, that part of JavaScript is good. I think it's much faster versus if we now go in our Python application, let's run it, Python main. Let's see. Okay, now we have this. We have our key. We save. It says API key save. I do not see. Okay, let's see. Okay. What I'm trying to say is our Gemini service in the user interface elements attached to it should they should go in a separate tab. And if we are thinking in terms of flow, is we first input the API key. After we input the API key, we click connect and save. It saves it, then tries to connect. Upon connection, it should state that it is connected. Then it retrieves the models that are currently available. If we select a model, it should store that until we change it. At the bottom of the application, you'll have the message panel for any error message. Now, let's go. We're going to ask the question, in 2026, what is the SDK Gen AI for Gemini? I think Google has changed its API from one to a new one. It used to be like that, so we have to just add that as a thing for it to know. And we also will have to tell it that, so it will do a little bit of research to implement that for us. While this is implementing, let's go back to our application. Let's refresh this, and we have our live notes. Okay, so I can say, hello, this is my notes, and I save it, and it shows it. I think the wonderful thing about Gemini, it can do the simple stuff. We can visualize things. I think if we had to choose between, okay, chat tells me, if you had to choose between the 90s user interface and the 2000, which one would you pick? It's so much more fun. What I don't like is the dark mode by default. So we're gonna say, I think our application will have a different thing. So why don't we start with a better build system? Let's start making this into we need a routing system, simple, and or do we need that? And a way to build components. In 2026, what do you recommend? Lightweight, so that we can start having a better design language. Okay, so, and I don't like the dark mode. Okay, so keep. Now, this is the message panel. Let's try this. Let's go on our application. Let's see what we have. It's launching, and we should save. API key saved. Where did it write this at? I think it probably has created a new file, as it always does. Let's see. It said settings tab. It changed it to generative AI. This is the workflow that it has. It first. Okay. We have the tab order, settings, input, result, prompt, info. Well, let's look. We need a hit We're gonna open the repository. Okay. And what files do I need to run? What is our entry point? Let's quit this. Let's quit. It's gonna tell us which GUI name. We have to use GUI main entry point. Okay. So we have to say GUI main. And it's gonna launch a new. Okay, so this is the new one. Start with settings. So we kind of move horizontally as we go. And I think two things. First, if we no longer need our original main, you can deprecate that, delete it. Second, our fonts are too small. Can we increase our minimum font size so that things are more readable? Okay, so now let's go to our C# side. Let us see. Let's launch it. We launch it. Hopefully we don't have any errors. We do. We don't have any errors. We're going to ask this history. So do you see the difference? So it's more efficient, but it's generally not any better. You know? Okay, let's stop this. Okay, let's ask it a simple question. We want to say, I think first we have to increase the font size of our system. Second, we're gonna paste that link. And we are going to, the lessons that we've learned here, we're gonna tell it here. We're gonna say, copy this. We're gonna save that into our chatbot so it knows about the flow of how it's supposed to actually implement it. And now we are hitting a snag. That's Visual Studio. And it crashed. Did it crash? Okay. So now we have a better way. I think patience is everything in that sense. Now let's keep. Let's remove GUI.py. Now we have GUI main. Okay, that's a good opportunity now to this is our current interface. Let's close it. We're going to go back into our thing and we're just gonna launch it again just to see if the end user interface and our fonts are bigger. Our fonts are bigger. Now we're gonna click on connect and save, and we have an updated list of AI models. We're gonna choose 3 Flash. We're gonna save the model selection. Now next step, we're gonna input, and I'm going to say, why is the sky blue? Okay, and we have latest result. Let's go to props. Okay, we're gonna say sky blue, and we're gonna say, why is the sky blue? Save it, sky blue. Now I can load it. Let's go in our input. It's there. Okay, let's now ask it. Ooh, there's a bug. Look at that. Every time I close. Let's quit. Okay. So if we have to rate, I think for the rest of this stream we're gonna be more fun. I think that was a good exercise. So we're going to keep this, use the rest of our tokens to improve this this application. So we're gonna close this. In fact, we do not want to close it because I think we're gonna turn it into an API. So we're gonna pivot this project. Okay, I'm gonna commit. I'm going to say work in progress. I'm going to say work in progress. Unstable. This is unstable. And we're gonna keep that here. For the rest of this, I'm going to also this is our user interface. So let's see what this Gemini has decided. It says it planned to Viten Svelte, so it's a build system. It's going to use Svelte. Okay. Let's use Svelte and let's redesign our app into these two main parts, the slides and the notes. And the pipeline is going to be like that. Notes are the raw ideas. And then we can group them by workspace. Create a workspace and put the notes. Workspace are basically just like a folder. Or let's just call it folder with a name, and then any note under that is just going to have that tag associated. We can have extra tags. Now, second part is the slides. Slides are just, you can add new slides. And all slides are simple. They take three things. They take a title, they take a body of text, no more than 500 characters. And that's it. That's the entire application. Or, based on the current content for the slides and the current components, you could propose some components, some elements that we have that we can add. For the graphics, I don't know how we would deal with it. Do we have a selection of emojis? I think that would be a good way to add some graphics. And that's it. That's the entire application. So tell me how you would implement that. So what are the lessons we can take from this? I can actually type this in. Then lessons we take from this is token efficiency versus richness of the user interface, easiness to implement, and interactivity. I think, in my experience, if we know the problem space extremely well, and we don't mind going slow, we could and the application is going to be kind of single user on the computer, we can go really far, extremely far, with just a normal application. It might take some more expertise and more patience too. Okay, now to continue with the chat, to continue with the stream, I think, can anybody either like or write a comment? I think I just want to see if people are watching and are interested in the content right now, and if anybody's watching with attention. I think that's what I would want in the next 5 minutes. Please let me know if you're still watching. You know what I think? I've been building a lot of tightly coupled applications. I'm going to start building an API for each. So I'm going to, next stream, I'm going to build an API. And also dark mode is let's look at our, well, let's go back on our Visual Studio. Okay, let's hopefully there are no, okay, this is looking a bit more professional. Okay, well, I should create a new, and then I should say prompt. Save. Okay, that's great. Alright, we can click on run. Yes, for selection. Let's see if that works. Let's go to our API to see if this is going to work. We're going to we're going to enter our API key to see if this will work. Let's save this, paste it in. Actually, just so I know. Okay, paste this in. Let's connect. It connected, found 2 available models, and it says select your preferred model. Well, let's go to our Flash. Let's save the model selection. Let's close this. Well, now it says not successful, not found. Okay, so we're gonna screenshot this. We're gonna say copy to clipboard, and then we're gonna go and we're gonna stop the application. We're going to save this, paste this, and we're gonna say we're gonna go into our Google. We're gonna call this issue we're gonna research, we're gonna say for our search query, we're going to say what is the most for C# the SDK 2026 for generative AI Google. I think I meant generative AI. And you wanna say, let's see, when was the last time this was updated? 3 days ago. It's using Auto SDK. It's let's see what this, I'm trying to see if we can just Gemini specification. Let's go to the proper documentation. We're gonna say Gemini API C# 2026, and let's see if okay, let's go to that. Give us the SDK, Google Gen AI. What year was this? This 2025. I think that's what we want to use. Let's actually go and actually copy this. Okay, and let's give it that as a thing. We're gonna copy. We're gonna save. Paste this, and then we're gonna to save that so it can make the fix for us. In the meantime, I think let's go back to our while it's working, let's go back to our we're not using VS Code right now. Let's go to, we're not even opening this. So we're going to actually duplicate this slide, and we're gonna say code dot is going to open our new Right now it's too much. We're going to split it into let's let it just write everything. We have 9 minutes, guys. 9 minutes to decide whether I could continue the stream or not. Let me know. I think let's go build it. Let it right. Okay. Source. Okay, now how many files? Okay, lightweight. What does it say to do? It's going to create a new item. You have to do npm install and then npm run. So we're gonna open a new terminal view, and we're gonna open the terminal, and we're going to paste this in. And then okay, and then we're gonna use npm run dev to start the development server. And now it's going to open it in a local host 5173, which we can have an issue. It says capture preprocessor. Check this one of those things we don't have to worry about, so we can start developing. I think we can just create a new terminal and actually just put that inside. So it can be very decent for if we are using it for what it's supposed to. Now let's see our C# side. It says everything is working perfectly. Let's open our prompt manager and hopefully our 90s style website. And now let us go to our settings. Let's go to model selection. Okay. Okay. I think we have to be more specific. Okay, we have to look at our SDK. And let's see if we had 2 weeks ago. Okay. We need to models. Okay. Generate content. Okay. Let's ask. We're gonna go into that repo. We're going to go into. Need access to Copilot to be able to do that. So we're going to ask for a particular repository. We want to know what we want to know for C#. What we want to know is how can we list the most recent models that are available. Okay, we can close this application. Now let's see. So this Svelte compiler is let's refresh this. Okay, let's open our application. Let's go to that's the token factory, refresh. Okay, now let's we have workspaces and we have nodes. We can create a new space. Again, we can go back to the present. Okay, the first slide. Yeah. I think right now the dark theme is not very pleasant. We want this good contrast, just a faint sepia in the background and a dark text. That way it's more readable. Let's not do dark mode for this. And this could be our user interface. Meanwhile, we're gonna give some instructions for it to find the proper models. And then while this is loading, let's test if we can actually create a presentation. Okay, we can create a presentation. Here we can say hello. And we can say we type in, we save this slide. We have the slide. It's actually pretty cool. Okay, now have different workspaces. I can have an idea workspace. Sometimes the simplest solution, and I go to ideas, and I can go to capture. Okay. So it seems like people would actually prefer to have a better so this brings us to the next stream that we're going to have, is we're going to kind of focus on the factory user interface, and we're going to be able to create ideas. I think well, any button should have by default dark text. Hover, any button should have by default dark text. So that's our main, first, most primitive design language. A button, all the buttons should be the same. Okay, capture and present. Okay, so now I think this concludes our stream. So next stream, we're going to go back. And thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm gonna come back in a few hours. And that's it. That's it for today. Have a great evening. And I hope that certain ideas that I discussed here was helpful. And that's it.